initially it was Yiddish, and for many years it was mostly a Yiddish collection. And in fact, one of the most difficult times I had in getting this library to grow and to do fundraising was this perception of the library as just for Yiddish-speaking Montrealers. Much of our community now is Sephardic, and you know, they're people who have nothing to do with Yiddish. And to show them that the library has grown too and has evolved, and Yiddish will always be there at the core. I mean, if we don't do it, if we don't have the programming, who's going to do it? But we have other things. So then, as I said, it was the People's University. So there was everybody wanted to learn French. So there were evolution of books in French, and then the French community grew. And so we buy a lot. It's still not used as much. Also because the French community came mostly from Morocco. It's a different culture, no culture of use of public libraries, because that's not how they grew. They're much more of an oral tradition than a written. And actually it's through, it's a generation later, it's through coming to the programs, it's through going through the system, they become very much merged, and now they're as big readers as everybody else. The Hebrew, because a big Israeli community, and we always had the religious texts, you know, we're the Jewish Public Library and this forum and stuff, but a lot more literature because of demand. I mean, we're always meeting demand. And then in the late 70s, when the big Russian immigration came, the Russian, it's the same group that came Yiddish-speaking 50 years earlier, whatever the two generations earlier, are still the big readers. And that's when I was in the children's library, and my brother had gone to Moscow for 6 months to teach. And they had just opened, everything had just opened up. And my mother donated a few $1,000s, I think it was $2,000 to the library for the purchase of Russian books. So I gave my brother a mission to order $2,000 worth of Russian books, not Jewish. If he can find Jewish, fine, but didn't have to be. For that $2,000, oh my goodness, we could receive several hundreds of books. And that's how the Russian collection started. We have a librarian, we used to have two, we have now one who is Russian speaking. The Russian community is very heavy users, and a lot of them love to be able to speak Russian. The English and French were hard for them. Sometimes I'd end up speaking Yiddish to them because my Yiddish is still better than my Russian. But so that's how actually Russian became one of the bigger languages. We do have books in many other languages. We have there's a German Judaica collection. It's actually a very fine collection of by German Jewish authors, which was built actually by a professor in the pharmaceutical department at McGill. That was his passion, and he donated it to the library. I don't know if it's all even cataloged yet, but I know that we have one German scholar who needed some books and actually found something that she desperately needed. She says, you know, the only other copy I ever saw was in Dresden.